Hi there, and welcome to this WRR 101 Focus on the Arts. I'm Amy Bishop. Shakespeare in the Park returns for its 54th season this summer with a mix of comedy, tragedy, and whimsy with three productions: The Merry Wives of Windsor, running concurrently in June and July with Alice in Wonderland, then moving into the fall with Titus Andronicus. The series is presented by Shakespeare Dallas, which delivers the works as they were meant to be enjoyed, which is under the stars. Here for a sneak peek in the upcoming performances is Jenni Stewart, Interim Executive and Artistic Director for Shakespeare Dallas. Welcome back, Jenni.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you about all the things we have going on at Shakespeare in the Park this season.
Well, let's dive right in and talk about each of these productions, starting with The Merry Wives of Windsor, opening up the season June 12th, which you'll be directing. Have you directed this play before?
I have not, so I'm really excited. It's another comedy I get to put underneath my belt, but I've worked on the production a few different times, so I'm really pumped to get to put my own sort of spin on a really fun, popular Shakespeare comedy.
All right, so walk us through the story.
So the basic story is we arrive kind of in a very small town with small town life going on. The big excitement is that Sir John Falstaff has come into town visiting, and this group of kind of men in the town are kind of preparing for his welcome. They're all old friends and buddies. Kind of going on the side, there's a couple there, Mr. and Mrs. Page. They have a daughter who's ready to get married, and she has a lot of interest in the town of people who are trying to court her. So there's kind of a subplot going on about who is Anne Page going to marry. Is it going to be dad's choice? Is it going to be mom's choice? Or is it going to be her choice? So there's a lot of little competition to see who's going to win the day. With the character of Sir John Falstaff, he's one of the most mischievous, kind of larger than life personalities in the entire Shakespeare canon, and he's a Rolling Stone and a bit of a chaos factor. He's always broke, he's always drinking, he's always looking for a good time. So he's just kind of that guy that kind of runs and causes a lot of chaos and mischief. So he's decided one of the ways he's going to fill his pockets so he can continue living the kind of extravagant lifestyle that he's grown accustomed to is he's going to court some of the local women, and he's not so concerned that they already have husbands. So to Mrs. Page of the family that's trying to find an appropriate husband for their daughter, and Mrs. Ford, another wife in the town, he writes them two identical love letters, courting them. But little does he know that they're besties, and they swap letters, and they realize what he's up to. And so then the whole play is, how do we get some revenge on him? Mistress Ford also has a jealous husband, so she's like, two birds, one stone. I'm gonna teach my husband that he shouldn't be so worried about what I'm up to, and kind of use Falstaff's affections against him to make him learn a lesson that really all of his fears are silly and they're vapid, and that they just need to like let go of that baggage and move on. So as you can imagine, there's lots of antics going on throughout the play, lots of everybody kind of tricking each other. And then at the end, it all ends up happily ever after. Falstaff is booted on to the next town where he will learn no lessons and continue to cause chaos wherever he goes. He's like a Tasmanian devil that blows through every community that he touches. And then at the end, we have a nice, happy celebration of the wedding of Anne Page. And spoiler alert, she gets the guy that she wants. So it all wraps up nice and neat, like a good old-fashioned Shakespeare comedy with a wedding.
Now, is this kind of set during Shakespeare's time? Is it period attire, or is it sort of reimagined more in a modern style?
So this one will be reimagined in a modern style, but the language is pure Shakespeare. And I actually think it captures the spirit of what Shakespeare was doing in the play, because it's one of his only plays that is about normal middle class people. And so in his time, it was very current. It was very of the time. And so we're taking the spirit of that and making it very of the time for us. So I think there will be a lot of nostalgia, especially for those of us who grew up in Texas, maybe have relatives that grew up in a small town, or we grew up in a small town ourselves before arriving in Dallas. And there's just all this kind of wonderful antics that go on that I think feel completely relatable to today. And I think by translating the setting, it'll be even more relevant.
Is this one of Shakespeare's earlier or later plays, or somewhere in the middle?
It's right in the middle. So it's a really good time. He's really at the height of his writing form. Falstaff is a very popular character, and kind of legend has it that when he performed his history plays, so Henry IV parts 1 and 2, where Falstaff is featured, that Queen Elizabeth loved the character so much that she said to William Shakespeare, "Write me a play about Falstaff falling in love." And this is the play that he came up with. So it's kind of taking like a really funny popular character and putting him in an alternate reality universe. So that's why he's so larger than life and he has such a kind of big personality.
Speaking of alternate reality universe, Alice in Wonderland opens June 19th. How true is the theatrical version to the book by Lewis Carroll?
So I would say incredibly so, but it isn't just Alice in Wonderland, it's also Through the Looking Glass. So if there's any Lewis Carroll fans, I think it's a pretty good mashup of both of those books. I think for those that are like Disney fans and have access to Alice through Disney, there'll be some reminiscent and nostalgic things there, but it really is truer to the original source material.
My imagination has just gone wild with like the potential for costuming and set. What can we expect visually?
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of fun. So obviously we have to create Wonderland. So there's going to be a lot of spectacle, a lot of magic. How do we make Alice grow big and small? How do we bring these characters like the caterpillar, the Cheshire Cat, some of these really famous popular characters to life? And I think what the audience will get to experience is really the most creative we can be in our theatrical form. We're going to pull all the tools out of the box for this one to make all of these images come to life. So whether that's puppets, original compositions, dance and movement, it really truly is going to be an interdisciplinary experience that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be highly creative. It's going to be such an adventure. And I think it's going to be a really nice way to enjoy an old favorite in a new kind of perspective or setting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm less familiar with the Shakespearean tragedy of Titus Andronicus in the fall, but I've read that it is a revenge tragedy. It sounds like it's pretty intense subject matter.
Yes, absolutely. So it's, one of the OGs and best revenge tragedies. So if you think about any of the fun content we consume nowadays, like Game of Thrones, a lot of the kind of plot points and themes and surprises that happened in that television series were kind of lifted from the Shakespeare play. So it's one of the first plays that he wrote. So it's a very early work, and it is all about the gore and the melodrama and the larger than life circumstances that these people find themselves in. So it's a very 180 from what we're doing in the summer. It'll be nice and dark and spooky and perfect for Halloween. So it'll be, all the good fall vibes as everyone's settling into, their horror movie marathon and things like that when we kind of switch gears as the weather cools down. So I think it will be really, really fun and exciting. Lots of fighting, lots of gore, and kind of just larger than life circumstances that these folks find themselves in.
Now, do you think that in that case, is this something that people will want to bring kids to, or is there like a PG or PG-13 rating for it?
I would say like PG-13 for sure. So maybe not the little babies, but I definitely think that probably middle school and on would actually have a wonderful time. We're still going to be doing student matinees for that performance, so we'll be, lightly editing some of the more extreme factors into it. But I really think that every time we do these type of shows for young people, they're so obsessed with the stage combat and like are really into the theatrical magic of that they end up actually really enjoying it too. So yes, definitely every parent should make their own decisions, but I would say PG-13 is a safe bet.
As far as the cast and production crew on all of these productions, is it a lot of longtime company members? Is it are there some new people making their debuts? Is it a mix of both?
It's definitely a mix of both. So we hire all local right here in our North Texas community, and we're really lucky to have such a wonderful community of artists that live and work in our immediate area. So that is amazing. And I would say it's about like 60-40, like 60% returning veterans who have been on the stage for a while. And in fact, one actor we work with, he has been working here since the 70s. So he's our most tenured company member. So you really see a spread, but we'll also have some people making their debut and also some folks who are kind of arriving new on the scene, young, fresh out of their training programs. And I think that's really the magic of Shakespeare is it's large scale. So each of the performances has a high number of actors that are participating. And the plays have a spread of generations. So we have folks that are at least supposed to be passable as teenagers, all the way up through more wise senior folks. So you really kind of, it's a great thing because there's mentorship that happens, but there's also seasoned professionals in there holding down the fort and making sure everybody has a wonderful artistic experience as well.
Summer is sort of like the off season for theater here in Dallas. So are these actors, like professional actors and actresses who work around town at other theater companies through the theater season, like fall to spring, and this is kind of like their pickup gig during the summer?
Correct. Yeah. So it's actually really wonderful because we get to work with a lot of folks who work in theaters all over Dallas and even Fort Worth. And so yeah, it's kind of great in the summertime. It's like, okay, great. Everyone comes together over at our theater, and then throughout the year they work at other theaters. So there's definitely some familiar faces for those who keep up with the theater scene in town. There will be a lot of familiar faces from various productions and other companies that they'll be able to enjoy in a new setting.
For anyone who's unfamiliar with Shakespeare Dallas, because we have a lot of new transplants here in North Texas, tell us a little bit about the company's 54-year history, how it started.
Well, I think the magic of Shakespeare in the Park is how multi-generational it is. So we've been going strong since 1972, founded on the simple but radical idea that really amazing, great theater belongs to everyone. So we have a very accessible pricing model. Our very top ticket price is only $20. It's benchmarked against a movie ticket, but we have sliding scale student tickets, senior tickets, all kinds of discounts you can find on our website. And also, we have free tickets available at every City of Dallas Park and Recreation Department, including the rec center that's right on the campus of the amphitheater. So it's so easy for someone to just stop by a rec center, grab a free ticket, and show up to the park and have it all taken care of. So it really is something for everyone. It's a great way to bring your whole family out to enjoy an activity. There's plenty of easy parking. It's so convenient. There's some premium parking for a modest price of $7, but there's ample amounts of street parking and other free parking around the campus. And then it's kind of a build your own experience. So you can BYOB if you're 21 and up. You can bring in your own picnic baskets. We also have snacks and food available on site, and we keep a schedule of any type of vendors we have coming in on our website, so you can plan ahead there. But yeah, it's all lawn seating. So people want to bring their blankets, bring their lawn chairs, anything that wants to make them comfortable. And we truly see the spread. Like some people are into picnicking. They have the full setup, everything that they need. And some folks are showing up with a box of a pizza and doing it low maintenance, which we also love to see as well. So I really do think it's just one of the easiest ways that you can get out and enjoy an activity in Dallas with minimal planning and maximum enjoyment.
And it always been at Samuel Grand Amphitheater?
So we moved over to Samuel Grand in 1989. So we started at Fair Park in the band shell, and then over time in the 80s, the rock venue moved in, and rock music and Shakespeare didn't go so hand in hand together. So we're very grateful that the city of Dallas had organized this Samuel Grand Amphitheater for us to move into, and that's been our homes for the last 3, 4, almost 4 decades. Oh my gosh, crazy. That's wild.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I have to say that with that amphitheater, the way it's positioned, kind of like on a hillside, it's very interesting how there is like a little bit of a breeze that comes in
Yes.
during the summer evenings.
Absolutely. And our company legend is that so Dr. Samuel, who donated the land to the city of Dallas, that's the Samuel in Samuel Grand, he had his summer home there back at the turn in the early 1900s. So when this was all like countryside and the city center of Dallas was more like where Oak Cliff is, that was, out in the countryside, and he had his summer house right on where our seating area is because it had such a good breeze coming off the lake. And, Dallas is flat, 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 but it's a little bit raised there. So it's a little bit elevated. And so I always feel like it feels so good out there when the sun goes down. And it's one of the coolest spots you can actually be outdoors in our city.
Is there anything else our audiences should know? Anything I've left out that you'd like to add?
Well, I will say we do offer memberships. Memberships are really great because we all want one less thing to think about. So when you get a membership, you can have unlimited free admission to any of our shows all the time. You also have a special reserved seating area right in the center of the lawn. And it really is just the most no-brainer way to kind of engage with us throughout the year. So if you're somebody who wants to reduce the amount of things you have to keep up with in life, then membership is a great thing for you to explore. And you can find all of the tickets, more information about membership, more information about the venue and the shows at shakespearedallas.org.
Actually, one more question on the calendars on the website. There are little dates marked as like preview night. So is that something that comes with the membership?
Yes, they do. The previews are actually open to everyone. What a preview means in our theater lingo is that we don't let the critical press come in yet, because we want to give the actors a few shots in front of an audience before we, allow their work to be reviewed by the professional community. So previews are actually a really fun time to come to because you're actually shaping the show. So how the audience interacts with the actors, or what they think is funny or what they think is not funny, we're still kind of tinkering with the process then. So if you want to be kind of a part of the magic, coming to a preview is a great way to directly influence how we finish out the production.
Is there, what happens if there's someone who asks if they can bring a dog?
So we do not allow dogs every night at the park, but we do have special Bark in the Park performances. And that is the time that you can bring your furry bestie with you. We love Bark at the Park nights. So just check out our website. All of those dates will be marked, and you're welcome to bring your pet along with you.
Awesome. I've been speaking with Jenni Stewart, Interim Executive and Artistic Director of Shakespeare Dallas, which launches its 54th season of Shakespeare in the Park at the Samuel Grand Amphitheater, June 12th through July 19th, then again in the fall, September 18th through October 18th. More info at shakespearedallas.org. Jenni, thanks again for the great conversation.
And thank you for having us.